If you watched last season's Mythic Plus videos, there was another situation, just like we're now seeing kind of unfold here, where there's just like one boss that just like never really worked very well. I had multiple videos on that one boss in healthiest, the chain boss. It was almost like a new bug was discovered every week. I've been hearing something similar here. So let's take a look at the footage and then we'll talk about what's actually going on here.
3, 2, 1. Three, two, one.
So you caught that, right? We'll look at it again in a second, but my question immediately to you is, have you ever seen a bug like this? Not specifically in this dungeon even. I mean, like, have you ever seen a combat that is supposed to include multiple targets, have one of them die during a previous attempt, then you wipe and that one doesn't respawn? Think about that, but let's look at this all again, because this is really strange. So the tank gets just whatever the charge. It's pretty dangerous. This guy making Prop Pally look pretty squishy, though. I'm not really sure how he dies to it. So that tank dies. This is a wipe, right? Like, there's no way you're gonna actually kill this boss without a tank. Unfortunately, they waste a ton of time here and they're trying to like fiddle with the fight instead of just resetting it. But then the warrior gets the charge, and for some reason now all of a sudden he realizes it can be reset, and then that happens. And that, I think, is part of the bug. Like, I look at this and I don't see something normal here. Like, watch this one more time here. So he jumps out there and then the mob charges and then just does this like no animation slide and turn kind of thing where it just ends up over here and it's just like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, see you later. Like, I don't know why it does that. I've never seen it do that when it resets, but I've never tried to see it reset on this side. That is really far away from where they normally are. You can actually just reset it up the hill there. Like, if you go past this hill here, it will also reset, which is obviously a lot easier, especially if you're not somebody who has a leap. So then, you know, the players that are alive still are now stuck in combat. And that's the really, really weird part about this, because the mobs are not here. The boss has despawned and now they're back, and one of them did not make it back. That's the one they actually killed. Like, if you saw the encounter, you see that that guy is actually dead and it's just the other two left. So now they're stuck in combat, but like, nobody says they can't release in the whole footage. I assume they can't release because why else are they saying they're dead? But we don't know that for sure because they're just not releasing or saying they can't release. They're just expecting a res, right? Which obviously that may be the case. Like, they may just be sitting there expecting a res because it would be faster, quote unquote. But yeah, obviously reloading the UI there is not going to do anything. That's not what that does. But maybe like going offline, maybe leaving the dungeon might fix this. I'm not really sure. The suggestion then is to actually just have the characters die. Now, the initial response here is to go die to something else, and I really like that response. I think that might have been the right choice here. I'd be very interested to see what happens if everybody just died. Would they all then be stuck in combat, and then what? You know what I mean? But this guy actually gets pulled back into combat, even though he's just sitting there AFK. Now, the warrior the whole time has a full bar of rage. It's not full, but it's not going down. I think that's still a feature, right? Like, a warrior loses rage when they're out of combat. So I believe that guy's also in combat. You just don't know for sure who's in and who isn't in combat here. Then everybody runs back. We got a little bit of a low-key moment with the, I mean, is that the right use of Dragon's Breath? What is that? This guy here, I'd be watching this. This is, at least he's Devastation, by the way, not doing Augmentation in a 16, but yeah, I don't know, that cracks me. Is that not a major CD for them? I know when I played Aug, it was like, that was like a major CD to just use that to, I mean, you can just mount up. What are you doing there? Anyway, they get back, bosses respawn, and there's nothing really else to comment on. That's the whole issue. But if you guys haven't been following the season so far, this boss has already exhibited a lot of fixes and changes in general. People basically used to be able to do some crazy stuff on this fight. You used to be able to to line of sight that mechanic that actually kills that paladin. That was actually something as the tank, you could literally line of sight it and the boss would just not do it, which means like all the other mechanics that come from it, like the puddles on the ground, they also wouldn't happen. That to me is like a huge bug. Blizzard ended up actually fixing that. Then there was like another really weird one where you could actually move the bosses. It required somebody going like very far away. I've never actually seen that one in practice, but I've heard that, yeah, it was possible and it was fixed very quickly. I mean, there's probably been even more bugs on this fight, but like to see this happen is very strange. My question then is like, is there a way that they might actually be able to just get out of combat, all release, and come back and only fight 2 of the 3 bosses? Obviously, that's pretty exploitative, but honestly, dude, I feel like this is probably how bosses should work. This is a big part of why Tyrannical is so difficult, is because if you wipe at 1% to a boss, that boss is back at full health the next time. Whereas if you wipe on a pack of trash and you kill 4 out of the 5 mobs, those 4 mobs do not respawn. So I've always felt like a council boss like this definitely should stay dead when it dies. But obviously that's not how the game works, and yeah, other than this situation, I've never seen this. I thought every council boss of the game has ever really featured, especially like in a raid scenario too. You would think there would have been some similar bugs out there in the past. So if you guys have ever seen them, please let me know. If you guys have encountered any other bugs on this fight, or really any other fights this season, let me know. We talked a lot about it in season 2, and honestly, that boss was very different. All of those bugs were detrimental to the player. Everything we've seen from this Everbloom boss so far, though, has actually been beneficial to the player. Blizzard has fixed most of them by now, but this one I don't know. Like, obviously most people are not intentionally wiping or anything like that to test this. What maybe they could have ran out of the dungeon, some way to drop combat that isn't going to cause the boss to actually reset and potentially fix itself here. I would very much think that there's probably a way that that boss just stays with 2. But then again, I think like maybe as soon as they pull it, it just bugs out again and just resets, or maybe even that guy spawns as soon as they pull it. I have no idea. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know. Just a fun little thing I wanted to show you guys here. Stay tuned. More streams coming tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed the snow weekend if you were in that part of the country. Otherwise, thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next video.